Hey everybody, it's Tim Shorts of Gothridge Manor, and if anybody's there, welcome aboard. We're gonna do probably a third final writing session on the short adventure I wrote up for Shadow Dark called "Hunting the Grue." I kind of been working on, and thought I'd try to finish it up tonight. I worked on it in between there a little bit to fill in some of the parts that I did before. I'll go over through everything that I've made. Might do some tweaking, but generally, I think I like what I've made so far. Let me see here. The other new thing that I did is I added my Twitch channel. I've had this Twitch channel for I don't know how long, but I made the Twitch channel actually to watch other people do some gaming. I think my original reason to create one was back when Jason Hobbs started doing his live West Marches game. So I created it for that, and I've had it since. So tonight's the first time hooking up to it because I guess the restream. I was allowed to connect three channels, but I only did two. I only did Facebook, and then I did YouTube, of course. Thinking that like Paul and Joe, when they joined in my games, wouldn't be able to share it unless I had an open channel. But apparently you can. So I'm using all three channels from there. And I guess you can add like X and was it Rumble and whatever other ones you have on there. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I seem to be working pretty good with this one so far. I haven't had too many issues, knock on wood, and we'll go from there. Hey, there's how you doing, Mike? Good to see you. Yeah, so I thought I'd finish up. Let me get my shared screen here. Uh oh, I got now we Flint and Mike. Good grief! I should just have you guys join in and heckle me while I'm doing this. All right, let me see if I can find my window. There it is. Share. I don't know if that came through or not. Let's see here. There it is. Leave it to Beaver. Levy to Beaver. I don't know. Just so you know, I'm missing the Rockford files for this. Well, I'm sure it's probably one you've seen before, Flint. I'm not. I don't know. James Garner may not forgive you for that one. I don't know. Gosh, I haven't seen the Rockford Files in forever. That's so funny. That's because Joe names all of his characters after '70s detectives. I'm sure Rockford Files or Rockford's going to be in there one time. Well, I think his next one he said is going to be Beretta, which that's a good one. I like that one too. So, all right. So there's Hunting of the Grue. I got so far. Let me see if I can make this a little bit there. I think that works pretty good. I don't. My ugly face doesn't need to be in the screen. All right. No, we can heckle you from here just fine. yes, yes, you can. You're gonna get that either way. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I just decided to get on here and finish it out. Mannix. I don't know what Mannix is. Mannix. I'm not sure what that is. Am I missing a reference or a joke? Which is, let me see. Mannix. Is that a TV show? Oh, that's a TV. I never heard of Mannix. It's a TV show, huh? By Richard Levison and William Link. Huh. No, I've never heard of Mannix. That's weird. He looks very familiar. CBS show from 67 to 75. Very interesting. Yeah, no, I didn't know about that one, Mike. I'd never heard of that one. That's weird. Growing up in the 70s, I feel like I'm missing a chunk or something like that. And then of course you got, what was the other one? Barnaby Jones. You know, you got, and I'm sure that'll be one coming up. Anyways, back to the adventure. So this will be the cover. Very simple cover in kind of I blame Joe on a lot of things. Yeah. So Hunting the Grue is a shadow dark what did I write here? Hunting the Grue is a shadow dark. Okay, I got to change that. Apparently, I had a stroke when I wrote this. Hunting the Grue is a shadow dark adventure for second to fourth level parties. Is that my campaign? The party is tasked with hunting a legendary monster Grue. Hate is what sustains it. Hate for any living thing, and light is what it hates most. Okay. Can't, that's right. It's canon. So then the first part of it here, one of the things I'll have to finish tonight, and something I should have finished before I even got to this point. But so the whole hook is Nikita is a merchant of exotic potions who wants to hire a group to kill the creature in the cave. She calls it the Grue, bring back the creature's head, and she XX. So I leave the XXs in there, knowing I need to fill that back out. Yeah, I didn't even know what a Grue was, Mike, at first. I rolled it up. I can't remember which chart I use now. But a Grue came up, and then when I read it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And this picture kind of fits the description. And then it emanates some darkness, and that's what we'll be doing tonight too. I have to create the Grue because there's not like a Grue template in Shadow Dark. I checked just in case if it was in there. It's not. So what we'll do tonight is we'll create the Grue. Not one of my strong suits is creating monsters. Sometimes I can do it okay, but sometimes I have a tendency to I don't know if it's probably overpower them a little bit with too many fiddly bits. Maybe not. But what I figure is I'll make them up, and I'm going to keep them down to two special abilities, and keep it focused on those ones. Then after that, last time we went through all the random encounters, kept a D6 table, just kept it simple. And like all my random encounter tables, it's a mixture of helpful encounters as well as, maybe I should mess with this. And then like the blood drop bush, I had to go do my research and find out what everything does and whatnot. So so there's some fauna that if somebody's has some sort of background in herbalism or something like that, they can partake in. They would identify the blood drop bush and know that this will help. If you put these in healing potions, it'll add +1 to every die you roll for that particular potion. And then let's see here. So those are all done. And then I completed the approaching Sir Kellington's tomb, and I added some cavern details because a lot of times, and I kind of forget this sometimes because I know it in my head, but that doesn't do anybody else who's running it any good. Like how high the ceiling, because I don't think that's expressed a lot in there. Like what's your 3D spatial relations? I mean, on a map, at least on my maps, and most maps, you only get a 2D sense, so you don't really know how high. And I like using height as a player too, because if I can get above someone and start, shooting them with a bow out of reach or something like that, we'll take that advantage and everything. Hey, Rob. Thanks for joining me, Rob. Just going over an adventure. So what I do with the cavern details is I try to add that 3D element that the map that I've drawn isn't going to give you. It's not going to tell you how high it is. It's not going to tell you maybe a little bit of the features, because I don't every room I don't want to keep on writing there's stalactites and stalagmites. Yeah. I get it. So if we put it in the details, then we kind of use it as a general description for the cavern. So in this one, it's 5 foot tall when you're on the shelves, and then it's 20 feet tall when you're on the base caverns. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you the map and go from there. Rob, Rob, yeah. Usually I call him Roberto. I make him Spanish or something like that. I don't know what that is. The footing is slippery as the floor is smooth. For gameplay, if a difficult maneuver is attempted, the GM may have the player roll with disadvantage. This is just for someone who's trying to do some crazy maneuver that they're trying to do. I love it when characters come up with some very imaginative ways, combat tactics to deal with a monster. I know I love doing that when I'm role playing as someone, but in this case, if they're trying to do something for beyond maybe like Shadow Dark rules, and like Rob wants to do like some parquet. What is it called? Parquet? Gonna jump on the wall, do a backflip, and then try to backstab the bugbear. I'm going to give him disadvantage on that one, maybe. And I might just do it because it's Rob. That's all. And then noise echoes throughout the cavern. It's difficult to pinpoint this, source direction. If anybody's ever been in a cave, it's hard to tell. You can't tell where the noise is coming from. It's nearly impossible. it's yeah. I've been in small caves. I used to do a little spelunking when I was younger. Not serious ones, just kind of like some just light spelunking where I didn't feel like I was gonna die. And then I've of course been in several of the big caves throughout. We have ones not too far, the Shenandoah Caverns, and I can't remember what the other ones we used to go to as a kid. And then been into the Carlsbad Cavern back in the day, so got a little bit of experience. And then there's one. So this was interesting. So my friend Heath and I, we went to South Dakota one year in the Badlands, and near there is the Black Hills, and near the Black Hills were the Mount Rushmore, but they have a cavern. I think it's just called the Black Hills Cavern. Can't remember the exact name of it, but they have the tourist section and everything. So they have tourist caverns, but then they have the other caverns that you're not allowed in here. You're not allowed in. So Keith and I, we found a tour guide, and she just happened to be this good-looking college girl. Well, it was tough, but we convinced her to take us in there. She wouldn't take us all the way, through the whole thing, but we got to go into the parts of the cavern that they weren't allowed to have anybody in there. We signed a disclosure, so if we, fell to our deaths, they couldn't be held responsible. I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. And we went in there, and what was really interesting about that is you got to see the cavern not in the touristy way. There was, of course, it was dark. It was terrifyingly dark, but it wasn't like when you go through the tourist stuff. They have lights set up, and then they'll shut off the lights in the middle of it, and then of course you can't see your hand in front of your face, your nose in front of your face. Well, this was the whole way through like that, so you didn't even know, even though we had lights outside of that narrow light, you have no idea that maybe there's 100-foot death trap next to you. So that was a lot of fun. You've been to the DeSoto Caverns here in Alabama. That's cool. Ever been to? No, I've never been to the Mammoth Cave. I wanted to go to that one, Mark. I had a chance to do it, and I don't remember what happened because I used to travel around the United States for a couple of years, and that was going to be one of my destinations because caves. If I hear cave, I'm like, gotta go. And in this case, I don't remember what happened. For some reason, I'm thinking there was some natural disaster going on, like they had torrential rains, or there was like something was like really high winds, or there was tornado. I'm not really, can't remember, but it was something that I'm like, I wasn't able to go, and then I was kind of heading on my way out. But yeah, I would love to go back there. Don't minimize your experience, Tim. You were in a cave for 6 hours until you came out. Yeah, Yeah, that was a tiny little cave, but I sat in the cave. The one thing, that was the time, Rob, I realized that how much caves like absorb the hell out of the heat out of your body. Because if you remember, I think it was a summer day, it was hot outside, but I'm in this cave for 6 hours. By the time those 6 hours was going in there, my core body temperature was dropping, and I was almost shivering by the time they came in, because I was just getting so cold in there. It's not like I built a fire in there. And then then the GMs who ran those guys through this module let them retro it, even though I fooled them and I would have destroyed the campaign world, but they didn't allow me to do that, bastards. Yeah. Anyways, cave talk. Maybe that should have been on one of our shows on that on Paul's thing that we played the other day. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And then some general descriptions, and then I reintroduced like the Red Rage. I guess I should say something for the layout again, real quick. Kept a very clean, try to keep it as clean as possible. Layout, 2 column, and then I have the left and right justified. And like I said before, I like doing the left and right justified when I'm using a smaller font. So if I'm using like a 10 font, or in this case 11 font, then it looks like it's filled up. Because if you use a bigger font, then you end up with these weird fucking spaces in between words, and it just looks wonky and everything. Where if you use a smaller font, the words fill in a little bit more even, and it's nicer looking, and I just like the look of it. And we learned that if in D&D was real, the monsters would have died from hypothermia before the adventure stopped waffling enough to enter. Yeah, yeah, or they're all cold blooded, or they built fires or something. Yeah, no doubt, because it was weird. I didn't realize that was going to happen to me in that cave. So I kind of learned a lesson in that one that I didn't realize, because all the other times it just been just walking through with tours, and then when we did spelunking, you were moving the whole time and moving. So by the time I left those caves, I was in a full blown sweat, from all the activity and probably terror. But a combination of those two things. And then the other thing with the layout, so what I did is I use what they call small capitals and bold to make the room stick out. So because one of the things when you're writing an adventure or any type of written information is you want to make the information as um, easy to accessible, as easy as you can make it be. You want the GM to be able to find it as quickly as possible and not have to look through it, because there's nothing more aggravating than that, and trying to find something that you're looking for, and to kind of keep with the shadow dark I guess formatting style. I don't do it completely like them, but I do it to a point where Kelsey and I use this in the past, not to this point, but I've used this style. So I use bold for like points of interest or things of interest, and then there's going to be like those little arrows where they describe it in a different level once it's sort of investigated or looked a little bit more, into, and then the GM can add a little bit more information to them. As you can see, that's done. What do we got here? I try to keep one font in my zines. Fancy causes spacing problems for me too. Yeah, I what I'll do is like I'll usually for my body text, I'll usually keep the one font. Sometimes I've used a different font for headers. Um, but the spacing's got to be right, because different fonts have different spacing. So you definitely have to work for it. And then, as you can see in here, like I have a different font for the title. I need something a little bit more grander, a little bit more stylistic with that font and whatnot. All right. And then here's my map, simple drawn map. Use microns. I think I use an 8 micron for the outside outline of the features of the cave, And then in the inside, depending on the contour lines, I use like a 5 and then I think a 1 uh, micron. And then for the stippling, I use a 0.005 for the stippling kind of thing. And then I scan that in. And in this case, what I did is I put it in a program and then I made it a transparency for around the map. So I don't always do that, but for this one I did because I want to make sure I keep the graph inside uh, the cave itself. Because I don't like when the graph goes outside the cave because then, I don't know, it just doesn't look good. So I like to try to keep it clean like that so the graph keeps within what I'm doing. And one of the things I do is over to the right, you see where the water is. I don't know, I have this weird thing where I don't do the little, if you see to the north, I sketch out the graph a little bit to make it look a little more appear more, be a little bit more obvious. Or when I do the water, I don't do that. I just, because I think it screws up the water lines and the look of it, where I think, it makes it look a little bit better. And you can see the contour lines, the lighter lines. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse cursor or whatever, but those are the lower ones and the higher ones are the darker ones. And those are the shells that I was talking about. So up here, they're 5 feet tall in these little areas. And then if you're in the main areas, they're 20 feet tall. Let's see, except for titles, they are different from the, yep, absolutely. Where did I get the art? I got the artwork from, all right, so the cover art is from a guy named Dean Spencer. Why isn't it jumping up there? There we go. So that's Dean Spencer there. And in the title page, I hear, so I kind of have my, what do you call it, credits here. So I always do a separate one for, the cover art and then the interior art. I list them here. And I think I described this last time. So what's really important to me, I want to make sure everybody gets credit for what they do. So I separate my art in 2 different areas. But anytime I get any kind of stock art, I always add the artist name into the description of the stock art. So in case I pull it and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot where I pulled that from. All I have to do is look at the file itself and the name is already in there. So it makes it easy reference for me. But I separate my stock art both by artists and then by subject. So, Dean Spencer has his own thing. I got tons of Dean Spencer stuff because he's very good. He's got his own Patreon. If you like his stuff, get in there. I usually get in around the $10 level. He gives you credits every month, and then you can go buy his stock art on RPG drive through, and that way you have it in your catalog. And it's I did the math, and it's much cheaper actually to do it that way. And he's very cool. He's a good guy to talk to. Very businessy. I mean, you're not going to probably talk about pizza with him or caves, but he's very, very cool and very helpful. And then I have William McCausland, which is, probably the most used stock artist in the OSR, and Jack Batishka, I think his name. He did a really nice piece and everything in here. All right. So yeah. So then it's 5 feet. So it's kind of a tight cave, but big enough for everything I'm doing. Let me see, what do we got here? And then thanks, man. I wish I could draw better. Thanks, Mike. It's been an evolution. Some of my maps, because everything I do is hand drawn. So if I screw it up, I don't, it's not a computer thing. It's not like I can, like the other day I did this kind of intricate dungeon map. And it was a whole page one. It was a bigger one than I usually do. I think it had 30 rooms in it. And what I do with those sometimes is I use this alcohol marker that's a very light gray, and it just sort of adds a shadow. So I'll put it on all the left-hand walls and maybe the north walls. And it adds this beautiful little, it's simple. It's a simple technique, but it just adds a nice little depth to a simple map of like some sort of shadow and everything. Well, like a dumbass, I grabbed the wrong marker, and my first thing I drew was this really dark gray. I don't know why I didn't check. I thought I had the right one and I didn't check. And now that Mars, and it's like, and I can't take it back. It's not a computer thing where I can just go undo. No, I got to say fuck and then crumple it up and throw it out. I don't know. I wonder if I have. No, I don't have it near. I'd show you what it was. Oh, let me see if it's over here. I must have thrown it out. That's probably what I did. Yeah. So I don't see it in here. I got maps stashed everywhere. Yeah, the gray marker shadowing is nice. Yeah, I can't remember. I think probably the first time I saw it was, or at least emulated it from, I think it was Glenn Seal. I saw doing it. I'm almost positive it was Glenn. So, all right. And then, so I started describing some of the stuff that's in there. And what I like to do is I used a random table. Actually, I used Greg Christopher's GM companion this time. Let me see here. Let me stop sharing here for a second. So I'm going to do a review on this one eventually. Oops, let me find my camera here. Let's see. There it is. Oops, what happened there? Oh, yeah. JP Cover. Yeah, I got, I think I got, let's see here. I think I've got a few of his zines over here. I bought them a while ago, and they're interesting, but I don't know how useful they are for me. I don't know where did they go? They're really well done though. Aha, here they are. So yeah, so I got his drawing cities, um, drawing dungeons, and making maps, just to see how he did it, everything. And his style is very cartoony, but I mean I really do like it. When I say cartoony, I never mean that as a bad thing at all, because it's just so approachable and so fun to look at. And where I have almost a, probably close to a cartoony look, I like to try to make him a little bit not so much cartoony, I guess. I mean, I draw my cities almost very similar to that too. So yeah, but yeah, he does good stuff. I mean, I like these ones. I haven't bought any of his other things. Yeah, they are good icons. That's what I think I got it for too. And then I've watched a few of his videos. Get this in there. And just to see how he draws things. And he does an interesting. I do that for some of them just to get some different ideas, so I can switch up stuff. But let me find Greg's thing here so I can show you. Like I said, I'm getting. I should be getting the physical book here tomorrow, I think. And I've had the PDF for a while. And I mean, guys, if you don't have it, it's if you like Shadow Dark and you like Greg's stuff, I know Mike, you like his stuff. Paul, I think you like some of his stuff, but this is actually very good. He does some good work with it. Where'd it go? Shadow Dark. And this one, this is for the GMs. So it's a GM companion. Just look. Aha, is that it? Nope, that's the player's companion. There it is. So I'll show you what I used out of this. And I think it was $11 for the hardback and or not the hardback, the softback cover, and then the PDF. It's a no-brainer. You get it. And if you don't like it, give it to somebody you don't like. You know, it's like, oh, I found this shitty. Oh, I don't like you. You can have it. Because why would you give it to somebody you like then, huh? All right, let's see here. Look at this. Because I like this table that he made for it. There it is. Okay, let me share again. All right, I think that's so. Shadow Dark already has their own version of it, and I think it's a D6 or a D8, and his is a D20. And so I do like the span of it, scope of it better. So I was using this, and I liked how it worked. I mean, it came out pretty well. So I used Greg's table quite a bit, and then I used some of his other, like I think I got Mob Monsters a few times, and so I used um, those these his table and everything. So it was so this is definitely something more. I think it's worth getting if you don't have it. Give it to Joe. Yeah, right. Yeah, give it to Joe. No. All right. Let me bring up my adventure now. Let's see. Oh, you have it on P. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a review as soon as I get the physical copy. I could do one on the PDF, but I don't know. I like to wait till I get the physical one too. Don't ask me why. I don't know. All right. Let me switch windows again. Play screen. Let's get back to the Grue. Every time I hear the Grue, though, all I think is the minions. And all right, what did I do with Chrome chat? No. All right. Stop sharing. I got to shift it like this. Apparently, it doesn't like shifting to that. There we go. It's very finicky about what I share sometimes. All right, so we'll get that full size. I'm using my vertical screen here. Lets me see the whole thing. View, full page. Of course, that doesn't look good. You guys can't really see it that way very well. Let me switch it over back to the big screen here. That way you guys can see it better. I can get my ugly mug out of there. It's not like you guys need to see me. Whole page. There we go. And make this embiggen. There we go. Better. All right. Oh, I can't read the comments now. What'd you say there? We got review from your cat. Give it to. I don't have a cat. I got Bug. Bug's a beagle shepherd, though. We have a new saying around here. I'm a beagle and I do what I want. So, which is very true. Probably with most pets. Hey, James. Gosh, it's been a long time. Just dropping by, quick roll D100 to see how many D100 tables to include there. There you go, Jeff. If you got them, put them in there, man. Yeah. All right, Mark. Thanks for stopping by, bud. I appreciate you stopping by. So, Mark, were you able to withstand all the technical difficulties? There, I know we were getting a lot of echo. So, all right. Let's get into one of the sections I need to finish here. So what I did for the mob monsters is I added piranha into the pool. We got a big pool in there. So what I did, I added actually another encounter area into the water area. Usually one was just right there when you first got into there. Then this one to the south was one. And then I think I don't remember if I had one up here or not, but then I added one down here to the bottom. So it just added another encounter room. And what I did for those is I rolled up 2 mob monsters, and I ended up with swarms with both of them, which makes sense to me. Usually they're a little bit samey, but I was kind of okay with it in this case because while there might not be piranha swimming, I could just quickly change that. Well, piranha wouldn't be in there. Well, not if I put cave piranha in there. Guess what? All the problems are solved with a simple word. There you go. Boom. Nobody can bitch about it. Some people that makes a difference. Like Joe would be asking, where did the piranha poop? Like in your mouth, Joe. That's where they go. All right. And then of course we had the bat swarms and everything. And I had to look up, I couldn't remember what bat noises made, so I had to look that up. And in this case, I wanted to make sure there was some sort of treasure, something to explore, to interact with. So I had a little bit there. And then what the hell is that? So somebody made a suggestion last time. It was very funny when I was going through trying to figure out what monsters I wanted in there. Somebody put a comment in there about a gibbering mouther. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, boy, this might be a good place for a gibbering mouther. But I didn't do it at first, didn't bring it up. And then after I went through, I ended up adding one, but I kind of put a little twist on it. And this is the artwork I kind of use for a gibbering mouther. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks creepy enough to be one. And they've got some nasty abilities, but what I did, I made mine very like it's like while it will still confuse the shit out of you because it's making all the noise and everything, it doesn't want to attack. It's like it's afraid. Um, it just wants to be left alone. So it shies away from the party, it has no interest in combat, will defend itself. So I try to make it almost like it could possibly be a non-combat situation. And that's, I try to add that opportunities in there too. I tend to run a really direct, if you're invading somebody's home, they're probably gonna want to know what, why you're there, and not be very hostile about it, no matter if they're animal or humanoid intelligence, depending on which. But in this case, sometimes I like to add in these ones that just are a little bit out of the ordinary. Chronic poop attack, say versus poison, yeah. So cave. That's right, Jeff. That's right. It's got to be cave piranha because somebody will complain about that. So then after that, and then I went into detail because I knew that there was going to be a mirror in there. It was one of the things I rolled up, and I used unnatural selection for that because they have this fantastic set of charts for. I mean, the book's good if you want to add some stuff, but my favorite part of the book by far is I always forget what it's called. Curiosities. That's what it is. Curiosities. And you roll up these random weird items. You roll what kind of item it is, what it's made of, what it does. Like I got like a candelabra that breathes or whispers or something like that, and it just did all this stuff. Well, in this one, I rolled up a mirror, and it's kind of describing the mirror. But in this case, what I did is I had an idea of the mirror, but then I found the stock art for it, so I kind of wrote my description around the stock art a little bit more to make it more custom for that. But invented a goblin god, as you do when you're just trying to invent gods when you're just trying to write up a room in a dungeon, and that's what I did. Chalhack in my world, goblins always have hyphenated names. Why? Because I just made it up and I've stuck to it for years. And so what it is it's a mirror of Chalhax. And the weird thing about the mirrors is if you go to pick it up, it'll shift, so it moves on you. It's almost like a displacer mirror. It's like, oh, it's there, it's not there. But if somehow they figure out how to anchor it or whatever, it's made of rock crystal and has a like a brass, I think I said, or bronze frame. So it's heavier than hell. So you need a combined 50 strength to even carry it. However, if a goblin looks into the mirror, they see themselves as an optimal version of themselves. And then that goblin gains +2 into one stat of their choosing. That just kind of goes into Shadow Dark's already rules that they have established. So I'm not really creating anything new, but I think it's a really neat magic item specifically for goblins so they can, advance a little bit. But when that happens, the mirror disappears unless somehow they anchor to the location. Now, this is one of those times where I say, offers like a option of how you could keep it there, but I don't explain how you do it. I offer a problem. I let the players figure it out. I let the GMs kind of go with if their party has a cool idea. I always say run with it, see what they can come up with, and go with it from there. And let's see, what does it say? Mark says Roper maybe, or what are those piercing something? Piercers. Yeah, it's piercers. And then we have autistic gibbering mouther having trouble deciding how to fit in the party. Sorry, my well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, not they don't want to interact with anybody. Yeah, it was weird, Paul. I don't know what that sound was, why it was echoing. I still, because everybody was echoing except you. So, I mean, we have to blame you then, Paul. I can't think of any other reason. All right, now let's move on to the last one. So I brought down the Grue from there. I haven't read or written too much about it, so this is kind of the second because we got 8, and then we have 9 here on our map, and the ninth one will be our last one. The ninth one is more of a. When I rolled it up, it's more of a. It's kind of like a collapsed cavern kind of thing, but I'm probably going to try to put in maybe a interesting tidbit, maybe a little bit of treasure or something in there, maybe to lead into another adventure, or maybe they'll find something in there from some of the goblins. Because the way I wrote this, I kind of figured the goblins uh, ran this, or were this was their headquarters back in the day, some of these goblins, and that's why you're finding goblin artifacts throughout. And the only goblins in here are the ones that are red raging and whatnot. So, but the interesting thing I wanted to do is the Grue. Remember in the beginning, it hates life. So I wanted to have, because the red goblin rage is something that's in my campaign, and it doesn't come up a lot, but once in a while when it does, it's a very contagious thing too. But somehow I wanted to integrate the red rage maybe with the Grue. Maybe the Grue is causing it. Maybe I don't know. It's just something that maybe I had in my head. Okay, let's see here. I'll check the chat real quick again. I accept all the. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a Mark says is there a second mirror out there that they could be placed in front of the other and open a portal or some such nonsense? Yeah, I can see, maybe, yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to go that far with the mirror. I think it has enough powers as it is, because I want to keep it low level. And while I like that, I think I would do that with maybe a smaller mirror. kind of like a maybe make a, like a table mirror that would kind of do stuff like that. That would be kind of fun to have it really mess around with the reality. I do like messing with portals and stuff like that. It's never just the second mirror. It's D4. That's right. That's right. It's D4 mirrors. Exactly. Plus one. Um, Taryn would take the mirror and fight the Grue with it. Yeah, yeah. But then he would drop it. Yeah. I know you can't see me shrugging and putting up my hands, but yeah. I mean, Taryn's notorious for dropping. Can the Grue be infected with the red rage? No, it's strictly with it's strictly a goblin thing. They're the only ones who seem to get infected by it. But the more I think of it, I might not just have those two intersect. I'm not really sure. But who knows? Maybe when we write this up, you guys can throw out some suggestions and we'll work it in there. We'll figure something out. All right. So looking into the cave is difficult. The torchlight bends away from the opening. And what I'm going to do here is just because the Grue, one of its powers is a 30-foot radius of darkness. And then I'm going to put that right in here now at the bottom here. Those stats above are not the Grue stats. They're just a template holding there. So we're going to put one of his special abilities. And I want to kind of keep it to 2. I don't want to give him too much because he's a level 4. So I'm going to add here 30 radius of not if darkness of 30-foot radius of darkness. Attacks against the Grue are at disadvantage. Only magical light sources cancel this effect. All right. So yeah, so that'll be good for that. So we can get rid of this little we already added there. And I've got, for some reason, I've got intact griffin eggs stolen from Arteen's Cavern. I don't even know who Arteen. It must have been something else I was like fiddling with at the time. But in here, so this cavern is somewhat, we've got some weird space there. And his 30-foot radius would pretty much fill the whole thing. So they'd have to use magical light to have a chance really against the Grue. And the Grue does move near, and I'm going to say fly there. I'll correct that right now. And then I'll tell you what, let's think of like the Grue, like the strength. I'm going to say strength of a Grue. I'm just going to cancel it out to make it a 0 because, it's got little pincher arms. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it a dex of +1. I'm going to say it's a little dexterous up there. I'll give it a con of 1. Intelligence, I'm going to give it a +1 on intelligence. Wisdom, I'll keep that as a 0, and charisma -3 because he's got a face only a mother would smother. All right. And let's see. We're going to definitely make this thing chaotic for those who care about alignments. We're going to make it an armor class of 11. So it's hittable because it relies on the darkness, though, to kind of for its protection. What are you doing, bug? A weird dog. Let's see. What do we got here? Can the Grue? No. Okay. So nothing new there. All right. So I'm going to say that because I know Shadow Dark, they have multiple attacks. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do the one bite, and it'll be, I guess, just +1. And that, but I'm going to make the damage still the D8. So I'm going to make it high enough damage. But maybe I need to do something with those pincher things too. Going after somebody. So let's see here. Let's do. I mean, I would think they would all kind of lash out. I don't think there'd be 4 different attacks. But I'll give them 2 attacks for that. I'm going to call them. God, I don't know what they would be. 2. What the hell are those things be called? 2. It's not pincers. It's not. They're like. I don't know. What are those things? What are the end of those? What should I call it? Like spike attacks? What would I do with that? With those things? Grue could be immune to bludgeoning weapons just for a curveball. It looks kind of punchy like a beach ball. It does. All right. I can make. Yeah, that might not be a bad one. Yeah. Might be. Let me put that down for right now. Add a little. I like to add a little space between these 2 things, little details like that for finding information. I like to pay attention to for everybody. So so we'll put. I think just put immunity as the thing, and bludgeoning. Bludgeoning weapons do no damage. There. And all right, let me see. Did anybody come up with an idea what those little attacks would be called? What are those things called? Fish whiskers of doom, and they are nasty looking things. They look like little crab legs or something like that. I'm just gonna kind of look like talons. All right, I'll just call them talons because everybody knows what a talon is. So 2. This is the stuff I get caught on when I'm writing adventures. I look at it and I'm like, then I sit there for a while just trying to figure it out. I'm just gonna have these ones do 1d4 damage. And his big damage thing is going to be him numbing on an adventure kind of thing. Yeah, so I think all that'll work. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to, so his attacks for that are going to be +0 because they don't have any, doesn't have any strength to increase it. So I'm going to stick to that. So he's going to be, so the Grue is going to be kind of squishy unless you have a bludgeoning weapon. Then it's not going to do any freaking good. But you got to get past his darkness. So hopefully your cleric doesn't fail his light spell, huh, Paul? If Ken was listening, hey, Ken. Yeah, because with my players, whew. Oh, hey, Michael. The spiky appendages could squirt water to attack torches. Yeah, I know. I thought it's something that they're, attacking. But what I was going to do too for it is he'll like the Grue's going to focus on munching the head off of anybody who's carrying light or who has the light. So I'm probably going to have them attacking this sword or torchbearer. And that's one thing I didn't do in the campaign that I ran most recently. I don't think I did that enough. And that's something I will remedy probably for the next campaign, that the monsters will be a little bit more aggressive towards the torches or any type of light that's going on. Yeah, and I think that's a good Grue stat block. He's got a little bit of immunity. He can, he's got, like I said, the darkness can make him really nasty if you don't have a solution for it, because if you don't have a solution for the darkness, it's one of those, I'm going to run and get the hell out of here kind of situations. So unless you got some sort of area spell that you think you could hit him with mean, that would be probably the most effective against it, but still you're kind of guessing how far away he is and whatnot. All right. Now I got to think of some descriptions for the group. Now, what I usually like to do, especially in this case, so let's add a little bit of the goblin culture back into the cave. So throughout the cave, I had these ribbons and animal skulls and stuff there. So I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna put the light, highlight the light, and then what I'm gonna do here is I gotta add one of my little bullets there, adjust the spacing of it because I don't like the way it's spaced there. So I'm going to say magical light is needed to trade the darkness around the Grue. Even though it's mentioned in the other thing, I want to mention it there so they don't have to hunt around and look for it because they won't know it's there until after this. Let's see here. And then we're going to put a little bit more of the description in the room. Room is filled with tattered cloth streamers and animal skulls hung from the ceiling. It's actually called a top, but I call it a ceiling just so I don't mess that up. Let's see here. What do we got? Oh, there's Vance. Vance wasn't our failed cleric. He was our failed mage, but he became a demonic lord in the end. So, I think he should get I think Vance should come up with his theme song. So next time Blogger comes in, you know how WWF wrestlers come into the ring and they got some song playing behind them. Blogger needs one, to play behind him. And my suggestion would be Britney Spears, "Oops, I Did It Again," or something along those lines. But let's see. Oh, what'd you say here? Who, me? Fail a spell check? That's right. It'd be funny if the bludgeon weapons could actually force it to move since it's floating. Maybe can't do damage, but you could sort of play Doom Ball with it as it keeps coming back to get you. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Maybe PC could knock it back 20 feet. Yeah, you definitely could probably do something like that. Yeah. I don't know if I want to get into that because then you got to explain all that. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny, sort of like a wiffle ball or what is it? Get it, tie it up to a string on the top of the cave and play tetherball with it with a Grue, tether Grue. Let's see here. Similar to the other cave, to the other caves. A higher concentration of all of them. Okay. So yeah, so you get this Grue kind of floating through all these streamers and these skulls and everything. That's kind of a good visual on that. Then let's add some other features, some sort of goblin feature that they might find in there. And I was thinking about adding this kind of. I don't want to have a broken statue. I want more, not even a eroded statue. I want it to have some features like it's a. I was thinking about making it like a at the back of the cave is a short. I don't know. I just belched out a good one. At the back of the cave is a short. I'm going to just say iron statue. Or rust. I'm just going to call it rusted statue. And then you kind of highlight this, and then when they go to investigate that, then they go into another one in here, kind of shadow, the way Shadow Dart does it. Okay. Statue is of a rough likeness of Shah Hack. It is made of iron. Because in some parts of my campaign, iron's a commodity too. I haven't really explored it fully yet. Paul knows I'm working on a little section that features some of his zines. Let me show you this real quick. Let me stop. I'm gonna plug you here, Paul. Crude totem pole. Yeah, that might be good too. So Paul talks about these a lot. I don't think I've published haven't been able to publish the last one yet and everything. But he's got these. So these are zines Paul makes. Crit Happens. And he's got these series. Let me see here. I got them all pretty much plotted. I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I just have number 9 I have to publish. But his is the hexing. It's based around the hexing. And it's a cool concept. And I want to add that to my campaign world. And I got a small section dedicated to it that I've already drawn out. And it's going to be more of like a post-apocalyptic fantasy section, which I love the idea of. See you later, Rob. Thanks for showing up, bud. And metals are going to be difficult to come by for various reasons, or just resources. So like weapons will be more valuable than gold or silver, probably in that case. I'm not really sure. Iron is a total commodity to rust monsters. Yeah, that's their Fritos. That's like a big bag of party-sized Doritos to them. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Flint. Yeah, like I said, Flint, I plan on doing, when I start getting more into developing that section, I'm going to be doing, I'll do videos for your zines, because it's fun. It's going to be a blast using your zines, making this stuff. So yeah, I mean, if anybody doesn't know about Paul zines, he's let me bring up a link here, because they're definitely worth looking at and getting. And he's got a really scary good deal on them too. Oops, that's the wrong link. I may try to plug them, Paul. It depends here. Let me see here if I can remember. Is that what it's called? No, I forgot the name of it already. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you had them on. That's not the right thing. I didn't say critical failure games, dumbass. So Crit Happens. There they are. Oh, I didn't know I didn't know your thing was Tabletop Tinker, Paul. That's your name on here. Okay. Here is the link to it, guys. Copy, and I'll put this in here. I think this will go out to all my channels, maybe. But yeah, I think right now his Hex Crawl horror bundle. Yeah, Gumshoe too. But nobody knows what Gumshoe is, Paul, or Gumroad. See, I don't even know the name. Yeah. So, but everybody knows this one. So right now for $9.99, He's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's basically got everything in there that you need that he's made so far. So you get 3, 4, 5, 6, you get 6 zines right now for $9.99. I think isn't that the right price, Paul? I think that's what it was. Yeah, $9.99. Gumroad, fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Competition. Yeah, I think I knew about it, and then I got some stuff from Paul there, but I have too much stuff in my library or a drive through. I like having it all in one place, or I just lose shit all the time. But anyway, 6 issues of Crypt Happens is on there. It's $9.99. Go grab the bundle. These aren't small zines, guys. These aren't just like your standard like 24-page zines. I think his last one was like 50 some pages. The one before that was like 40 some pages. Right now it says you get a 235 page count from 6 zines. Those are big freaking zines, guys. Yeah. So yeah, go grab a copy. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Or even better yet, too, join his membership on his YouTube page too. I'm one of his members, and I don't regret it at all. It's I get to watch his videos early, and yeah, for the price, what's it say, zine? For the price, you are getting 1 zine free. Oh, okay. Is that how it is then, Paul? Yeah. But I mean, really, I mean, he says you're getting 1 zine free, but I mean, like I said, these aren't normal size zines. These are big ass zines. They're not, because like back in the day, the standard zine used to be around 24, anywhere from 20 to 24, 28 pages, and that. Well, I mean, he's got like this one here. I think this was like, yeah, this one's 47 pages, just the issue 8. And if I remember correctly, he sent me number 9. I can't remember now. He sent me number 9, and it was even bigger, and it was how to create cults for that. So yeah, Flint Fire Forge. Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't know why he didn't use that name for the drive-through one. He decided to go with Tabletop Tinker, and that's why I couldn't find him. But now I'm following you, Paul. I put it so it would come up for me. All right. All right. Did I plug you enough, Paul? I think so. All right. Let's get back to sharing this. All right. Here we go. Oh, did I not bring that up again? It's weird the way it wants to share it. Sometimes it doesn't register it's even there. There we go. All right, back up there. So like I said, we got the room description, we got the statue and that, and then whatnot. And I'm probably going to leave this kind of like this. I don't like the idea of griffin eggs, because that wouldn't make any sense. They wouldn't last there. They'd be rotten or something. Or maybe that's what I'll put in there. I'll put in, but I want to put that in the next room, kind of in the collapsed room or something like that. I don't want to get sued by the Dragonlance people. Oh, well, those are the people you don't have to worry about getting sued by. You know, it's the overlords in charge that you get. You know, they'll send the Pinkertons after your ass. Flint Fire Forge, come out with your hands up. Bring out all your zines. We don't have those anymore. You got to remove this, because we might lose $35 to your constituents. All right. I don't know what accent that was. I was just sound like a Southern prison guard. All right. Okay. I mean, I'm trying to think what else would be interesting to have in here. All right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to use, people like to, I use just random shit from behind me. So what I'm going to do, I haven't used this one in a while. Why not? So for today, I'm going to use, let me show you this one, guys. Dun, 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 dun. Stop sharing for this one. I am going to use this very good book. It's the GM's Miscellaneous Dungeon Dressing by Raging Swan Press. This is definitely, I mean, I like this one, but there's a lot of hit and miss in this book. But it's a good collection overall. And if you can't find something that you like, just keep looking, and you will. And you definitely will. So I'm just going to open up a page. I don't care what page it is. So here we go. I'll tell you what. Somebody give me a number from, I don't know, 10 to 300. Anyone? 10 to 300. Pick a page. Pick a page with a table. Because if you pick a page that doesn't have a table, you're fired. Somebody else will have to pick. Anyone? Bueller. 72 from Jeff. All right. Let's see. Jeffrey, 72. Let's see what's on that one. All right. Doesn't have a table, Jeff. Come on. This thing's filled with tables, and you missed it. It's got like, oh, wait. Oh, we got a 111. But this one's interesting. This one's the page 72 doesn't have a table, but it's got Doom paintings. I love Doom paintings. That's one of my favorite, one of my favorite things from medieval stuff. Let me turn on a freaking light here. I'm looking in the darkness. So those who don't, I'm sure everybody that you guys out there know what a Doom painting is, but just in case, Doom painting is a traditional English religious painting that depicts the last judgment of the Christian faith. I don't know if you guys ever seen some of these things. They're pretty wicked cool. I can't remember the one artist. He did a series of Doom paintings of these demonic creatures taking up people, grabbing them, and everybody's butt naked in them. And I remember as a kid looking at them and looking at those paintings, just fascinated by them. I don't know if I actually still have that book somewhere. I don't know where it's at. It's probably my oldest book. It's probably the first book I have. Painted by Terrence. It is, without a doubt, Flint. Without a doubt. That's so funny. I forgot about, yeah. Maybe we do a Doom painting, a Goblin Doom painting. Oh, I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. God damn it! Now I got to think of a Doom painting for a Goblin. That's cool. And then we got Bosch, right? Bosch paintings. Degoya. Let me see if it is. I can't remember if it probably is Degoya, but let me look it up real quick because that. Let me see. No, it wasn't Degoya. I'm gonna have. All right, now I gotta give me a second, guys. I'm gonna spend a lot of time turned around because I'm looking for shit. But I think I have it nearby. There it is. There's the book. So this is a book I had as a kid. This is one I had for my kid. It's called Strange Stories and Amazing Facts by Reader's Digest. And it has all these weird, my poor covers about had it. Well, time to get out the masking tape. Yeah, I got this back in 1976. It's got a little bit of age on it, huh? Let's see if I can find one of those Doom paintings that I like. There's the Mona Lisa. Watch me not be able to find it. It's pretty prevalent, though, from what I remember. Surprised it doesn't fall open to it because I used to look at it. Not because of the naked people, but just because of all the weird, just the horribleness of it. You know, I think they're like biting them and eating them or something like that too. And gotta go up to the beginning again. Yeah, see now they're talking about the end of the world with this stuff, visions of death. It's got to be in this area. Just has small articles about weird shit in here, and I just remember reading this cover to cover as a kid, looking at the because it's got a section of, Loch Ness monster and Bigfoot and all that stuff, pictures of them, just cool stuff like that. Section on UFOs, medieval stuff. Okay, maybe it's in this section. I'm not gonna find it, guys. I can't think of the name of the guy. Guess it doesn't matter. Oh, wait a minute. Are we getting there? There it is. I don't know how well this is gonna show. But yeah, see the guy on the, I guess right there, got a green butt. I always thought that was weird that he had green butt. But yeah, so you got all these demons just like, swooping down and grabbing people. Let me see. What does it say? The damned tormented by winged demons from hell are shown in Signorelli's Last Judgment. It is based on Dante's journey through the 9 circles of hell. So Signorella, I'm probably slaughtering the name, but that's the best I got. But images like that always stick in my mind when I think of Dune paintings. Oh, you know what we could do for the Dune painting? I think just to kind of fit with the whole theme of it. I'm gonna put it in a flat chest on one of the shelves up there. So they're gonna have to go up on the shelf. Up there, there's a big shelf up there. So I'm going to put it up there so it's not obvious in sight. And then what I'm going to do is I'll lock it. That gives the thief a little something to do too. Sometimes we forget about, giving the thieves a little bit of something to do. So I'm going to want to do that. And did I share this again or not? I don't know. I didn't. All right. I all of a sudden forgot how to share. There we go. Share. All right. So I'm just gonna on the back cavern shelf is I'm gonna make it a rusted iron flat chest. We're not talking about anything other than a chest that holds things, guys. And I'm just going to keep it simple like that. So one thing I noticed about Kelsey's adventures, very sparse information, and almost to the point where it's a little bit too sparse for my flavor. I like a little bit more meat on the bone, but not that much. Not a lot, but enough that the GM has something to feed off of, and can mess around with and play with a little bit. Oops, move that back one. Formatting is important, and then I'll highlight the chest. Put chest is locked and rusted. I'm just going to put a team because it's kind of tough. I'm going to put a target number of 15 on it for decks. They'll get advantage on it because it's a thiefy thing to get it. And then if they go to brute force is used, roll a d6, and this is where I use the d6 rule for Shadow Dark to determine if the contents are ruined. All right. Let's see here. Check the comments real quick. If you lock it, I will add a needle trap. All right, let's add a needle trap. I like the brutality that you're showing tonight, Mark. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to move this Grue. I don't know where I'm going to put that yet, so we'll keep that over there. What is that little mark up there for? That's weird. All right. Well, then what I'll do is I'm going to kick that down one more. Trap. Protecting it. Okay, so all right, let's, because I'm not sure what I forget poison in Shadow Dark sometimes. They have different types of stuff. I know some of the traps that they have for, it's like, it does 4d6 damage. Well, in Shadow Dark, that could kill like an 8th level character. It's no joke. Let me see. Do they have traps already listed in this? I'm kind of curious to see what's. Give me some gauge on the lethality of what we can do with this. Like I said, it's a bit of a low level one, but I'm okay with knocking off a few PCs. I kind of like doing that. I mean, the PC's a sneaky little bastard that hides behind everybody else. It's time for him to get his upcomings. He's a little downtime, assuming room temperature. Let's see here. So let's make things weird. I don't see a trap thing. I know whether you have traps in here. I guess I just don't see them offhand. What we'll do is we'll make it a poison needle. Let's see, what do we got? Thin the herd. Yeah, thin the herd. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, all these PCs get comfortable with their guys. They just want the players they got future plans for their character. And that's when you sneak in a rock grove or a needle trap. Let's see, if the attempt is failed, the thief needs to make a TN. We'll just make it 12 for right now. Let's con check. On check. Or take. I'm going to say 2d6. Let's make it a little nasty. 2d6 damage. Maybe the PC temporary con reader. Oh, maybe you know what? If you take out the word temporary, I'm with you, Mark. It was interesting. One of the monsters that the players fought, I think you probably were there, Mark, or may have know about it. Instead, when it hit, it drained their constitution points. Was it wisdom points instead of their hit points, and that got real fast for them. Yeah, so we'll say lose 1 constitution point permanently. Yeah. Oh no! Now I'm -1. My con. I do like that. I like the attack on the statistics. I do like that. If brute force is used to open the chest, roll a d6. Oops. To determine if the contents are destroyed. 3 destroyed. By 6. Good to go. Page 114. Thank you, Paul. That's why I need to do these live so I can find what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yep. Thought they had a section there. It was weird that I couldn't find it in the contents. Yeah, some of them. Like, I remember I was rolling one of these things up, and there was a trap in a room, and it was like a crossbow, and I think it was triggered by a false step or something like that. And then I rolled the highest thing, so it was a first level dungeon where this crossbow shot you for 3d10 points of damage, and it petrified you on top of it. I'm like, damn. That's like Tomb of Horrors traps kind of stuff. All right. Then let's shrink this in a little bit. Yeah. Inside is a painting. I'm gonna have it rolled up into like I call it a large scroll case. And after the poison needle, they're going to be paranoid about opening up the large. We'll put sealed with lead on both ends. Yeah. The funny thing is I've learned through the years, if you add a little description about even just the casings and stuff, it makes the players more paranoid about opening things. And just because I said it's sealed with lead on both ends, it's going to make them paranoid as hell, which, it's always fun. How are they going to open this? We're going to melt it. I'm going to hold it out at arm's length while the other dumbass with the torch tries to melt it off. And, that's going to happen. All right. Inside is I'm going to put vivid painting of the doom of goblins. Cha is in the center, hovering in the air. Below him, masses of goblins infected with red rage are killing one another. I like it, guys. I think that's a good, cool description for that. And then I'm going to put Mr. Grue picture, move this down. I'll put a little Grue nobody puts Grue in the corner. Well, I do. I put Grue in the corner. All right, let's move that down, give it a little bit more space so it doesn't look so clumped up. Yeah, I like that, guys. I think that's a good room. A lot of nice details, some cool things to find. And then it adds a bit of a mythology to the world, whether you use it in your world or whatever, but it kind of coincides with something that I kind of build, because I'm always building my campaign. It's never done. I'm always adding things to it. And that adds to my mythology within my world. And I like the idea of it. Does the Doom painting have any effect on PCs if you look at it? Yeah. Going to do it specifically. If a goblin looks upon the painting, it contracts the red rage. Yeah. So basically, if so this thing could cause a bit of a goblin apocalypse because effective doom painting, you feel like someone has just walked across your grave. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just roll. That's always fun to do. Is just roll for no reason and watch the players go. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? If Goblin looks upon the painting, it contracts the red rage. I wanna. Should I leave it like that? Should I give him a save possibility? Like give him a TN 15 con save or something like that? What do you think, guys? Should I give the little goblin a chance or just let him suffer? What say you? And we'll go with that one. Oh, Flint's being generous. All right, Flint. I knew you'd wuss out and give him a chance. All right. Yeah, let's see. Let's do a TN. Let's make it a 15 because this is pretty kind of a bit of a artifacty kind of, I would think. Con. I'm gonna make it a con. Should I make it a con or should I make it? Maybe I'll make it wisdom because it's gonna jack with them. Wisdom to resist. There we go. TN 15 wisdom to resist. There we go. I think that'll work. Make a save versus granting save. That's right. Flint, Paul failed his. Yeah. He just couldn't help himself. All right. So we just have one more room to go, guys. And this one, what is going on here? Why are you behind there? We are going to top bottom that. Whoa, what happened there? We'll scooch this guy in a little bit. Oh, I think I made him. Let me make him a little smaller. There, he's not interfering with that. Just to add a little bit to it. And then we got there. Now I got my cursor where it needs to be. All right. And then number 9. Collapse Cave. Sort of a bit of a, what do you call it? Conclusion where it's not where, of course, the battling the Grue is the big end, but this is sort of like the little leftover stuff. And this is where we maybe can build on maybe a little bit more goblin mythology, or maybe not. I don't know yet. So you say wisdom too, Mark? Yeah, I think so too. I think that kind of fits a little bit better. Yeah. Roll a 5, so no save. No saving throws for you. So large chunks of littering the floor. Recently. So among the debris, large nest is seen. Haven't collapsed. Still there. Cloth, streamers, and skulls. Okay. And the only thing we really have to kind of keep it, kind of sum it up, we'll just kind of keep it that, and then we'll just add a nest of 3 griffin eggs, but all the griffin eggs are going to be, no good. They'll be rotten. They'll be stanky. Can you imagine egging somebody's house with a griffin egg? A stanky griffin's egg? That person doesn't like you. All right, let's see here. All right. Nest has 3 griffin eggs inside. A causing. They stink of rot. But why don't we put a little bit of treasure? Wait, so what do we got here now? Oh, wait, I can't remember. Which systems roll high, low? Well, oof, yeah. What's the treasure? Well, the treasure is actually the Grue in this thing, because there'd only be treasure there really if like the Grue collected that kind of thing anyways. And the Grue, it'd be incidental treasure, I would think. But now I'm going to I want to put a little something into this area here and see what's. Why don't we? Let's see here. Let's roll two things on. Let's just use the Shadow Dark table. We'll just use 2 things on there. Somebody roll me, or 2 people roll me a D100, please. We're going to roll on the 46 table and the Shadow Dark tables. And I'll put those 2 treasures in there, even if they suck. So I'm sure Flint's going to roll low. So whoever wants to roll D100, give me your result, and I'll add those things into the adventure. I think that's roll over pretty sure. Yeah, I think all of it. I don't need to roll it. I already know it. I was going to say, we might just use your 72 then, Jeff. That's right. 72. So that means a lute carved from ironwood with golden hardware. Okay. Lodge between the branches is a golden lute. Made from ironwood. I have something similar to that in my campaign too. I don't know if I used a golden lute made from ironwood. I don't know. It seems counter, because if it's golden and it's made from ironwood, I don't know. Wouldn't it be a golden lute made from gold? But why don't we just say it? It just seems weird. So I'm going to make, there is I spelled the wrong loot. Loot made, I'm going to make it sound better. Ironwood loot. Now, if I was a DM and somebody got that and maybe they were bardish or something, I might give them like advantage on some rolls or something cool like that. But we're running out of space. I know. How can you have a golden loot made of ironwood? Probably have a Timu. Damn Timu, it is. 63. Gold plated. Yeah. Yeah. But then how would you know it was ironwood? You know, I don't know. Let me see. 63. What do we got there? We have dragon bone crossbow carved as a roaring dragon. That's kind of cool. And that sounds like a penis extender back in the medieval ages. Instead of a Camaro, I got a dragon looking crossbow. I know I'm amusing myself now. All right. Let's put a dragon bone. What was that? One word or two words? They used it as one. I guess spelled dragon, right? Dragon bone crossbow. Carve a roaring dragon. And let me see, I'll just put a value on these things so the GM kind of has an idea. I'm just going to use the prices they have here. This one's says it's worth 60, but gosh, if it's made of dragon bone, I'm going to make it a full 100. And I use a silver piece system, so I'm going to make it silver pieces. And then the loot, I think it has 50 in there, so I'm going to use the 50 silver piece thing there too. Ah, damn it. We went off the line now. This is where, because I want to keep it within these 9 pages just because that's the job sometimes. I'll do this. 3 eggs are inside. See, just switching that around. No. Let's see. We got probably like only, this happens to me all the time. I'm just like, one little thing away from there. Let's see, what do we got here? Equivalent to Dirty's Harry Magnum. Yeah. Yeah. If you're lucky today, punk. Well, do you? Probably thinking to yourself, did he fire 5 or 6 shots? I don't remember it. Let me see. I got to shrink this up a little bit so I can fit it into 9, because I got to fit it within the pages too. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the easiest cheat. We make the Grue a little bit smaller, just a tiny bit. Then we move up this instead of battling with the words, because that's a losing fight for me most of the day. We just bring it up a line of voila. We are done. We are done with that. So this adventure is concluded. The only thing I have to come up with is a little bit right here. That's going to fuck up my layout. I forgot about it. I have some room I can play with, though. I'll use the same kind of trick with that. If I'm going to add just maybe a sentence or two there, and if I need to, I might shrink down the wolf and fit in the extra lines and everything. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'll finish this up, give it a read through, maybe send it to Joe or Paul or somebody just to read through it real quick, and then I'll release it on my Patreon, and it'll be there for, PDFs are free, of course, so you can pick it up for free, so you can torture your own people with it if you want, or so to speak. So yeah. Appreciate everybody joining me tonight. I didn't think I was going to get that many people tonight. So, Flint, Jeff, Mark, I appreciate all your participation. It was a lot of fun tonight. I appreciate you guys coming out and adding to the adventure and everything. I'll probably I'm gonna add you guys to like assisted by in the credits here or something like that. So I'll give you guys a little credit in here and whatnot, and for helping out tonight. I appreciate that. It was fun. everything. So, all right, guys. Well, so I plan on doing these every now and then. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. So get this one out, um, and then I'll work on another one. My ability to push out adventures is nowhere where it used to be. Um, I used to be able to push out like an adventure. I don't know. I could probably do one a week, or two a month, and then that wouldn't include like magic item cards and NPC cards. I could do all that nowadays. Good grief, it takes me so long just to do the smallest things these days. So um, I'm glad to get this one under my belt. And I did this one pretty much entirely kind of online, which was a lot of fun. So I'll probably do this again. And I like doing it just to kind of show how I write adventures, the different techniques, the different resources, the different books. I should go back and rewatch all my stuff so I can make a list of all the resources I use, include and whatnot. Maybe I'll have to do that. But thanks again, guys. Have a good night, and hopefully your weekend's great, and hopefully get some gaming in. That does sometimes, Jeff. It certainly does. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.